Hi, it's Paul here from InterAcct Software. In this video, what I'm going to do is go through the job costing module and how it relates to the other modules in Odoo. So we'll get started. The first thing I wanted to explain is that the job costing module really sort of sits above the other modules in there and relates to them. So the first thing that we would normally do once you've installed the job costing is do some of the setup. So if we just come into here, we can start to see what we need to set up. So the first thing we need to set up is the products. So in the products, one of the main things you need to do is you might have your existing products, you can put new products in there, but the main thing you'll need to do is set up the cost group that the product relates to. So that might be materials, labor, machines, sundry, whatever it might be. The next thing also is under the employees, you'll need to also set, there'll be new fields there and a new tab, and you'll need to set up the employee costs. That's the main thing. There is employee sell prices on there, but we're not using that at this stage. It's something we might use in the future if we do in charge type jobs. The last thing, not that you actually have to set up anything, but projects is important to our job costing module for our timesheets later. So you don't need to do anything there, but I've just wanted to indicate that yes, it is a related module that we will be talking about later. So the next thing underneath the job costing, you'll obviously be putting in a job estimate, and then when you convert that estimate, you'll convert it to a quotation, but then the actual costs will come in. So let's just talk about what the actual costs are that relate to the job costing. So the first one is just stock issues, so existing stock that relates to the job. Purchases, so purchases can be anything really, but normally they're material purchases, but you could also have purchases as far as subcontractors relating to the job. And you've also got sundry costs. So these are just costs, nuts and bolts, that we're not relating to a particular purchase, but it's normally like a service charge or a consumable charge to the job. And the last one is timesheets. So they all link to the job costing, and they will show up in the actual costs. So just looking at each of those now, say for instance with the stock issues, we'll be using the products from the product database which are marked as materials to be able to issue to stock, and they will hit the stock issues and fall through into the job costing under that area. So the same sort of thing with the purchases. You'll look at the products database, and in fact the contractors or the subbies is the same thing again. So looking for those ones that are marked as subbies or subcontractors, and you'll be able to do a purchase for them, and when the costs come through, they'll hit the actual costs in the job. Same sort of thing also with the sundry costs. So we will look at the products that are marked as sundry and be able to select those. That gets done directly under the job rather than via a purchase order or a stock issue. The next thing is the timesheets. Now, the main thing there is that we'll need to have set up the employees and put those hourly costs in. But when we're doing the timesheets, we'll actually be selecting from the project. So when we first create a job in the job costing, it will also create a project for that job. It will also link to the estimate and the cost item that it relates to as well. So we can do that in another video. But main thing to need to know here is that the timesheets relate to the employee costs and the projects in the database. So the other part of the job costing is where the revenue goes. Now, really, the main thing here is that we're just using the Odoo sales orders system. So we create the quotes through the sales, then we can convert those to sales orders. That once that gets done, the estimate converts to budget. And then later down, we're going to be creating invoices. So as I said, yeah, we will just link from our job costing to open up the sales orders, and we can bring through the data from the estimate to create our sales order, whether that be a summarized, a detailed, or a itemized quote. And using that information, then we can generate the sales order and the revenue. So The other thing that people ask us about is how job costing relates to the accounting side. So as you can see here, we don't really have any direct links to the accounting side from the job costing app itself. They either come from the actual costs, being those stock issues, purchases, contractors, timesheets, that sort of thing, or from the revenue side through the invoicing. Just note that the sundry costs don't relate to the accounting side at all. They're just internal for the job costing to indicate what sundry costs have indicated on the job. So the only other thing that I might mention is that, we might also be having information come through on the dashboards as well, so or reports or anything like that. So again, that sort of sits on top of there, and it doesn't really relate to the rest of the modules at all. Just ways to be able to see the existing data in the job costing. So hopefully that gives you a detailed explanation of where all the information is coming from and going to within the Odoo system, that relating to our job costing module. If you have any questions, you can contact us at odoo@interact.com.au. Have a good day. Thanks. We are an Odoo partner and have been installing ERP packages since 1983. Mainly our Australian-made package InterAcct software, which has a ton of great features, quite similar to Odoo. We've been helping clients personalize and install Odoo since 2020. We pride ourselves on our customer relationships and getting to know exactly what benefits their businesses. You can contact us via our website or toll-free number 1300 66 2626. We hope to hear from you soon.